Hi everybody. Okay, I think I'm live. I don't do these often. If you follow me, you know I don't do these often. This is my favorite spot. I have to bike here. And I'm so glad I got here before it started raining. You know, I was prepared for it to rain. I'm just glad I made it. So I'll get straight to the point. I have a few things I want to talk about. If you don't know me, my name is Amy Jaramillo. I'm an occupational therapist, specifically an occupational pelvic therapist. I also am an inpatient occupational therapist in a hospital. I work with a lot of neuro patients. Over a year ago now, I made the switch to studying pelvic therapy. I made the switch in my career and I began studying pelvic therapy. The way this started, my husband and I were talking about having kids. We want to have a lot of kids, big family. And, you know, we're very active people. I have a bachelor's in kinesiology with a concentration in exercise and fitness. And I went on to study and get a master's in occupational therapy. And I studied exercise and fitness because I loved it, and that's sort of the lifestyle I live. I believe in constant movement of the body, and that movement is medicine. This is something I tell my patients and my clients almost every single day. Movement is medicine, just as much as so many other things are medicine. Being outdoors in the sun is medicine. Food is medicine. So we were talking about having kids and growing our family, and I had a concern with returning back to these activities that I love. And would I be able to do these things that I do now? That was a big concern of mine, and I loved exercise and fitness, so I started looking into prenatal and postnatal fitness, and I came across something called pelvic floor rehabilitation. And another one of the things we were talking about, my husband and I want to be able to stay home with my family as much as possible. So how can I still contribute financially to my family and my household income, but be at home with my kids as much as possible? That was really one of the main things. And this is my beautiful, oh my gosh. Look at this place. This is my oasis. How can I do these things? And so at the same time, I was looking into prenatal and postnatal fitness, and I came across pelvic floor rehabilitation. I'm like, wow, I remember this, pelvic floor. When I was in occupational therapy school, we came across the pelvic floor when we were in our kinesiology class, and studying manual muscle testing, something we do with our hands, and we have a scale. It's pretty much subjective how we scale and grade muscle tone and muscle strength. And we were going through all of the muscles, and we came across the pelvic floor. But you know, this is why I always say I feel like pelvic therapy is this big secret, because they totally skipped over the pelvic floor. And, you know, if you know me, I love this stuff. I love studying this. But even back then, I was intrigued. You know, you see a vulva on the page, and you see a penis on the page, and then the pelvic floor muscles, and you're like, wow, this is awesome. And your professor tells you to skip it. It's like something I tell my clients all the time. You're taught to connect with your pelvic floor as a young kid, because that's when you become potty trained. That's basically what happens. You connect with your pelvic floor and you realize, wow, I really can hold it and wait until I get on the toilet. I don't have to go on the floor. I don't have to go in the diaper. Pee and poo alike, right? So we're taught to connect to our pelvic floor as kids, but then we grow up, we become adults, and you know, that kind of just begins to happen automatically. That control for using the bathroom and holding your urine and poop and going when you're actually at a place where you can go. Except what happens with a lot of women, and I specifically started studying, let me bring this back. So we skip the pelvic floor, basically. I thought to myself, I can do this. I can study this stuff. Because so many people I know don't know this stuff. And what happens to a lot of women, right? What happens to a lot of women after they've had babies, they experience some issues. And the ones I want to talk about today, just briefly, are prolapse, urinary incontinence, and diastasis recti.